In the first of this week's double parasha, the Torah tells us, Kedoshim tiyu, ki kadosh ani Hashem Elokechem. Be holy, for I, God, am holy. What does that mean? What is holiness? We speak about a holy person, a holy place, something that is sacred, a heiliger Mensch in Yiddish, a holy person. But what is holiness? What is required of us when the Torah says, be holy? And on this we have two very different views from our great sages. The first one being Rashi. And Rashi tells us as follows, Kedoshim tiyu, be holy means, hevu prushim min harayot u'min ha'avera. Separate yourself, abstain from sexual immorality and sin. So Kedoshim means to be set apart, to stay away. If you want to create a holy society, it has to be a society that is moral. And elsewhere, Rashi tells us that the actual meaning of the word kadosh, holiness, means that which is set apart, set aside, whether it be for a good purpose or for a bad purpose. That is kedusha. And here we have a number of examples. Shabbat is referred to as Shabbat Kodesh, the holy Shabbat. It is set aside. It is different from the days of the week. On the days of the week, we have mundane activities. On the days of the week, we pursue our professions, our livelihood. When it comes to Shabbat, there is a totally different atmosphere that prevails, an atmosphere of holiness, something set aside. Activities are different. Clothing is different. Food is different. That is the holiness of time, Kedushat HaZman. There's also Kedushat HaMakom, the holiness of place, such as the Beit HaMikdash, which has in its name the word Kadosh, holy, the holy temple in Jerusalem. This wasn't a place like any other place on earth. It was set aside for a unique purpose, to serve God. Everything that happened in the temple was dedicated for that purpose and that purpose alone. And that is sanctity of place. So according to Rashi's interpretation, being Kadosh means to be set aside. And indeed, the Torah tells us to be a mamlechet kohanim v'goy kadosh, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Holy meaning set aside for a higher goal, a better goal. Then we have the commentary and the explanation of Ramban, Nachmanides. And Nachmanides shares with us a most beautiful idea as to what the Torah means when it says Kedoshim tiyu, be holy. And he explains as follows. The Torah prohibits many different things. For example, there are certain foods that cannot be consumed by Jewish people. There are certain relationships that are prohibited, incestuous relationships, adultery, etc. These things are absolutely prohibited by the law. Then there are things that the Torah allows. It allows us to eat meat, provided it's kosher. It allows us to drink wine, provided it's kosher. It allows a person to marry and to have an intimate relationship with their spouse. This is perfectly okay. However, there exists the possibility that a person could become what Nachmanides calls naval b'reshut haTorah, a miscreant, a knave, a brigand, somebody who acts in an unbecoming way, but justifies it and says that he's doing it b'reshut haTorah, with the permission of the Torah. You see a person acting like a glutton, overeating. You say to them, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And he'll tell you, my food is kosher. There's nothing wrong with it. You see somebody who drinks too much. And again, you approach him. Why are you behaving in this way? And he'll tell you it's perfectly okay. The Torah permits it. This is kosher wine after all. That is what we're trying to stay away from when the Torah tells us Kedoshim tiyu. Be holy even in those areas in which the Torah gives you permission. You're allowed to eat. You're allowed to drink. But you don't have to overeat. You don't have to overdrink. Everything has to be done in a sense of moderation. That's what it means to be holy. Kedoshim tiyu. To have a sense of holiness. Not just to abstain from that which is prohibited according to the law, but even to control oneself within those areas which are permitted. To create a different type of a feeling. And here we have, for example, Shabbat itself. Shabbat we know is holy. And the Torah tells us there are certain things that we may not do on Shabbat. One can be a shomer Shabbat. One can guard Shabbat and make sure 100% that he never breaks Shabbat and he never does something on Shabbat that isn't allowed. But still there's no sense of Shabbat. He's keeping it according to the strict letter of the law, but there's something missing. There's no atmosphere on Shabbat. Again, this is the idea of Kedoshim, to be holy, to create a different type of atmosphere, not just to do exactly what the law demands, but to go perhaps beyond and to act in a way which is more moral. I believe this is the message that the Torah is giving us, the beginning of the parasha, Kedoshim to you, be holy, for I, God, am holy. Shabbat Shalom.